Buenas tardes. Welcome to my channel, Better Monday Fasting. Just getting out of the gym, and it's like 90 degrees here in Asunción, Paraguay. So now I'll be walking to the sauna. So in this video, I want to talk about leverage. How can we leverage things in life? And so it's not directly related to fasting, but since fasting allowed me to travel more, like fasting started guiding me, and I somehow adopted this nomadic life, and then I get a better understanding of leverage. So anything I share in this video is not medical advice, so please do your own research before making any decisions, health related decisions. That said, so leverage, what do I mean by leverage? Is that, I mean, we're all born somewhere, and I think most of the people, they kind of stay where they're born, you know. Some people move a lot, and growing up, you know, one of the things that are shaping your perception of yourself, it's the feedback from society, you know. It's the feedback from society, and how you place yourself within that society regarding your skills, I don't know, the way you look, because that society is going to have criteria for beauty. There's going to be things they value, other things they value less, and you have your skill set, you have your genetics, and so you're a member of that's society, you know. So things that start getting interesting when you start moving, you know. Once you start moving, things become very different. I mean, the easiest is it's with currency, you know, money. So if you're lucky to be in a more developed country with a strong currency, so just by moving to a place that is cheaper, like your economic level is gonna rise, you know. And that I experienced it. I mean, once I moved to Latin America, I mean, so I moved from Switzerland, which is I think it's the place where you have the highest wages, you know. And there is no minimum wage in Switzerland, but they kind of estimate it between 4.5, 5 grand, you know, which is huge, you know. So when you go to a place like Colombia, where the minimum wage is $250, I mean, if you're a half poor, half Swiss poor, half of a poor from Switzerland, you are 10 times more rich than a person from Colombia. So I heard testimonies. I mean, that might not work when you live in Airbnbs and hotels, but if you decide to move there, I mean, you can get a really nice 3-bedroom apartment with view in Poblado or Laureles, you know. And I mean, there's this one guy, I actually talked to him once, really nice guy. I think he has a channel called Medellin Masterclass. His name is Andrew, and he has a video in there. Maybe I'll put the link. He actually, I think he spends about $2 grand, 222, something like that. And with that, he never cooks. So there's a lady coming, cooking for him twice a week and cleaning the apartment and everything. And other than that, I think he just orders food. So he doesn't cook. He has this like a gorgeous apartment with a view on the Medellin Valley, And I think he likes the sports, so like he goes out, like he has drinks and all that. He does, I think he does activities. Yeah, he does some activities, and I don't remember his other expenses, but like from what he's saying, he's kind of living like a king, with $2,500, like less than $2,500. So then, I mean, the trick is like, how do you generate that money if you're not in that country? And that's where like the new American dreams come into the picture. I think now the American dream is to live in Latin America or Thailand or like Southeast Asia and earn like euros or dollars or Swiss francs. I think that's the new American dream. So that's one leverage. That's you leverage that. And it could also be things like you didn't expect, maybe you're from Naples, and once in a while your uncle calls you up for, hey, can you replace the pizzaiolo? And you know how to make pizza, but you never, like in that league, you never saw yourself as you didn't identify as a pizzaiolo because you did once in a while, and then you move to a place where they don't have pizza or pizzas are terrible, and now you're the star pizzaiolo, It happened to me when I used to work at a coffee shop on the beach in Pacific Beach called The Mission. And back then it was just before the third wave. The third wave coffee was like starting. And there was no, at least in San Diego, there's no latte art or nothing like that. But one thing they teach me over there is like how to pull a nice espresso shot, how to make good foam, silky good foam, and also how to clean the machine, And over there I was really not a star barista or anything, but I worked, it was fun. But then I started going to City College, and I couldn't work outside of the campus. I didn't have the paperwork, but on campus I could work. So I signed up for working at the cafeteria of the school. And they asked me if I had previous experience. I said, oh yeah, I can make coffee. And they put me, it was a little coffee bar, little coffee bar. I mean, it wasn't like specialty coffee or anything. It was generic, coffee, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad, It's like a generic thing, like the bags that you find at grocery stores. And they had a pretty good espresso machine, so I took good care of it and stuff. And I knew how to, calibrate the grinder. I knew how to pull a nice shot of espresso and make good foam. So next thing you know, I was the star of that coffee bar. People, and also San Diego City College. I mean, it's not like you have all kinds of people there, but it's not the richest people who go there. And so for them, the reference of the best coffee possible was the brand with the green logo, And yeah, they were thrilled. They're like, it's better than that famous coffee shop. Your coffee is better. I mean, that in my opinion, that's not very difficult to achieve. But so that's leverage, I went from being a average barista in a good coffee shop getting good coffee beans and having like skilled baristas to another environment, and then I was the star, you know. And then it was great because I never did the dishes. I never worked at the cafeteria. I never did the dirty work. I was just, you know, I was just making coffee, and when it was really busy, they will give me someone to help. But I was almost like a manager. I mean, we're all students, but then the person will be cashing, you know, the money, and I'll be making the drinks. And so that's leverage. Then you know, like you find niche. Like another thing that happened to me, that, you know, like I was born in Turkey, and then we went to Switzerland, and so being of Turkish origin in Switzerland, it was sometimes it was positive, sometimes I mean, you had like rebel girls. They wanted to date me just because I was Turkish, you know, at junior high. But also I encountered racism and sometimes prejudice, and so. But then I went to the U.S. and now like I was this like Turkish dude, but who served in the Swiss army, and I spoke French, you know. So then I figured out that with the ladies I had this niche of 1,001 nights, you know, kind of the Oriental, you know, like Oriental tale mixed with the French lover, because I will date girls and they were like, oh, talk to me in French, and I'm thinking like, I mean, have you ever been to the suburbs of Paris? I mean, it's not like, I mean, that country, they did like I mean, I think it comes from their history, but like the PR, who did the PR is a genius, because the reality, it's far from, I mean, the reality I know of, it's far from that dreamlike place. But anyways, so that's leverage, like, you know, that's all of a sudden you find a niche, like all of a sudden you're unique. But in Europe, as a Turkish guy, you're not unique, because in Germany you have like 4 million Turks, you know, it's like, and you have prejudice. But then you go to the US, well, all of a sudden, like, so that's leverage, you know, and you can apply to that to many other things, you know, skills, looks. And then when you're a nomad, I mean, it's even more like you can even do experiments, like, you know, sometimes I go to a new place and you know, I open my Tinder and it's very difficult, and I go to another place, I'm the same, it's the same profile, everything, and my account explodes with messages, you know. So it's very interesting, especially in places like you know, where like tourists don't go too much. It's so then you're all of a sudden you're a rare thing, you know. And so it's either in places like it's either in places like where your profile is more like you're rare, or places like there's other things going on. It also happened to me each time I go to Medellin. Oof. But then it's like you got to be careful, because it's not. I mean, you have all kinds of people, and I just don't. I mean, I don't use it for dating in Medellin. I mean, I think it's too dangerous. You know, if you're like a 22-year-old, like, you know, gorgeous, and she's like, hey baby, let's meet right now. That's like, it's a lot of red flags. So yeah, the only way I could meet someone like through that app, you know, the person has to be normal looking, over 40, like something more realistic, because I don't know. But that's just me. I mean, I have friends that they use Tinder and they're very other foreigners. But it's just that the dynamics there, it's like, you know, the socioeconomic dynamics. I mean, if you're a foreigner, you're already way above average in terms of money, you know. And then it's so you'll have all the freelancers, you have all the gangs that they want to just rob you, you know. Then you have the gold diggers. Then you have you know, normal people, but looking for somebody like a boyfriend that is going to pay for everything, but they're looking for a normal relationship. And then you have the group of independent, like Colombian women, but they, for some reason, they want a foreign boyfriend, you know. So all of a sudden, it's just like yeah, like the pool is wider, you know. And all that, you're the same guy. So you go from another, like a place to another, and like all those dynamics are changing because within that market, like your value is going to be different than the market you come from, you know? And it could be sometimes better, but sometimes it could be also worse, you know. It could be that you know, you're a good soccer player in your neighborhood, and you go to, I don't know, Argentina, and then that kind of happened to me. So I came to Argentina in 2017, and you have soccer is everywhere. I mean, they take like, you know, parking lots that are inside buildings and transform them into soccer fields. And sometimes you have buildings with like 2-3 stories of soccer fields. It's just mind blowing. You have, I don't know how many teams in Buenos Aires, and it's soccer. Like, you have fields everywhere, people play. So I was like I had already visited twice, but I had freshly moved to Villa Crespo. It's an interesting neighborhood. Sometimes you got to be careful, but it's an interesting neighborhood. So I came here, and there's a soccer field, you know, 6-on-6, artificial turf. So I looked from far away, and it was all dudes like, I don't know, 40 to almost 50, you know, like, I don't know, over 40-year-old dudes to 50. And they all had the belly, you know, they had a big belly. Like, they didn't look like sports guys at all. You know, kind of overweight with that baby, and they're kind of running like that. Oh my God. And then they start playing. I mean, wow. The passes, the accuracy, like the first touches, the accuracy, the passes, how the vision. Oh my God, they were like I started watching, like there is nobody was making a mistake, you know. They're like just like great. I mean, not in shape, but probably maybe they're like old pros or something, you know. So I saw that, and I was like, if that's the average level in Buenos Aires, I can only be a goalie, you know, like, and I'm okay, like soccer, like I'm not like very talented. I'm not like a huge player, but I did play in the Swiss, like 5th league, you know. I played in some leagues in San Diego. I played a little bit of indoor. I wasn't really good in indoor, but I mean, back then, you know, I could play, and I loved playing and all that. And I will regularly play in San Diego. We had the rocker soccer. We'll go. It was like every Saturday morning at 10, Balboa Park, and it was all like guys from Black Art Procession, Rafter, Pinback, like playing soccer. It was. Sometimes I will get nervous, like when I'll go, fight for the ball with the bass player of Pinback. I'm like, what if I tackle him and he breaks his arm, or like, like that will be just, then the entire city hates me, So yeah, so then you can go both ways, but traveling, I really noticed that, and now I'm taking advantage of it. I'm taking advantage of it to make my money in the countries that I pay the best, and live in countries where I can get the best for my money, and socially, be someone that adds value. Not just another Turk in Germany, or another Turk in Turkey, but just I'm going with we are more than flags. I understand that, like it's just but at least on the superficial, the passport aspect, go somewhere where, like, I bring something to the society, something that it's maybe more rare there, and where I'm treated better, because last years in Switzerland it was really hard. It's like, it's really, in the West in general, women, like they just have all these expectations and all that. Like it got really weird, with the whole Instagram thing. Like so now, like somebody that's a little bit cute thinks that she's a movie star, and I think it's global. It's a global phenomena, but in Latin America it's not. It's very. Everything is very it's more accessible. You can talk to people. It's easier to be a man, to be a caveman. It's more, you can go directly. If in Latin America, like you go to a woman, even if she's not interested, and you're like, hey, you know what? Like, I like you. You're beautiful and stuff. Like, she's gonna take it. She's gonna be thank you. Like, then maybe she's gonna let you know that she's not interested. But it's not like, they're not gonna see that as a harassment. It's very, so in that sense, it's very open. It's like there's no complex. Then it depends on the, where you go, the region, the country. Like, I don't want to but it's way it's looser, and then also all the ideologies, they're less present. Sometimes you'll find, Buenos Aires, you find one of all the global ideologies. They're pretty present. And also when I went to Guadalajara, I think it was like Women's Day or something, there was they destroyed everything. There was graffitis and all that. So it also depends on where you are, but the dynamics are still more old school way, a little bit more traditional, and from my perspective, it's maybe better. It's like progress is not always good. In another video, I said, in the 70s, the music running the world, it was Led Zeppelin, and now look at what we listen to. Is that progress? Everybody has her answer, but for me, it's like we're going backwards, So, I wanted to talk about that leverage thing and how does it relate to fasting. It doesn't really, because when I moved to the U.S., I wasn't fasting, and I was already enjoying that leverage thing. But fasting made me more resilient, and at I think more advanced age, to be more able to still be able to live out of a backpack, you know, and that's huge. So I can still, and it's very convenient, you know. I spend total. I'm always moving because up to now I always had a tourist visa, except for Argentina, and now in Paraguay I'm going to get residency, and so I was always on a tourist visa, so I will go back and forth. But in total in Mexico, I lived like I think 1.5 years, like over 3 years for sure. No, 3 years and a half. 1, 2, 3, and but lately, I mean, it was getting expensive. You know, it was getting more expensive. And the thing is, like, if your money comes from the outside, it doesn't. You know, it affects you in a negative way. You know. So being a nomad, it allowed me to move really quick. I was like, oh, let's go to Colombia, and come to Colombia, and it's like 30% cheaper, you know. And what you're getting, it might be even better at times, you know, like Airbnbs, like quality of food. You know, like when you in Colombia, when you're in the Estrado 4, 5, 6, those are like, you know, they classify the neighborhoods by, you know, how suited they are for comfortable living. So the 1 is the most basic, and 6 is the higher, you know. But on those higher ones, it's just, you know, the apartments and, you know, the shower, the kitchen, like everything looks good. I mean, it might not be, you know, bourgeois California level, but it's very, I mean, at least European level, you know. It's very, nothing to complain. And also, I've been living for 8 years, so for me, it's like, it's always a nice surprise, because I lived in places that was like, it was a little bit more, at times more minimal in terms of comfort. So yeah, sometimes you have leverage like that. Also inside of Mexico, for example, like if you go to Oaxaca, it's like food, I mean, a lot of things, it's like, it's actually better, you know, especially food and everything that involves like labor. It's better quality, and it's cheaper. It's way cheaper than the north. So, but then you might not get, you know, your internet might not be really fast. You might have other like infrastructural challenges. But in terms of, you know, gastronomy and things like that, it's just, and the produce they have, the market, and it's just, I mean, in the market I will eat, I don't know how much I paid, it was like 30 pesos or like something like less than $2. I ate the soup with a whole, like a fish, and the tortillas they were making on the spot, you know. But that was in Abastos. It's like the real market, you know. So, so you have the best produce there, and you can have for the best price, you know. And all the restaurants, like, they're really good, and they're affordable. So even inside of Mexico, you can leverage things like that, you know. And inside of the same country, you can leverage things. Doing the censorship, because I think there's a baby. So yeah, like I wanted to touch a little bit on the different topics, because I mean, right now the life I'm living, it's a byproduct of fasting, or a positive secondary effect. I don't know. More of a byproduct, like it's a result. So I also want to talk about a little bit that aspect, even though it's not technically directly related to fasting, because that's the price you're getting when you're that's the price you're getting when you're you incorporate fasting into your life, and then you start getting results, and those results, they open you doors, it allows you to do things that you couldn't do before. So, and that leverage concept is very important to keep in mind. And also, if you're having maybe a hard time for certain things, where you're living, that's also something to keep in mind. When I started playing guitar and playing music and all that, in my junior high, I was pretty good, and then I made it more to the scene of the city, and then I got my ass kicked, because there were a lot of good players and all that, and then I started thinking, wow, and then I keep playing, I embraced more the bass. I think I had more talent with that, and I loved it more. So as a bass player, I could pursue my career and everything, and then went to the U.S. In the U.S., I was very welcomed in the San Diego scene, So I started losing the complex I had, and I'd be like, wow, because I always thought, I knew I wasn't the greatest in Switzerland, and I knew that in the U.S. the level is really high. But the thing I didn't know that is in the US, yes, the top, the creme de la creme, the top layer is amazing, but then the pyramid is really large, and you have more people who's really average or don't know how to play. Just go to Guitar Center on a Saturday, oh my God, I don't know if it's still like that, but then you see the American level of rock and roll, the reality, But then, I started playing all the instruments, having my, never became like a rock star or anything, but I'm still releasing music, and a lot of the people that I felt were better than me, they just gave up, Some of them continue. But the thing is, when I look back, sometimes I look at, when I was 18, 19, competing with all these other kids. And now with the perspective, with all the musicians out, I look all the San Diego scene, all the US scene, all the good Turkish players. I've seen some, I've been on some tours, I've seen some bands, I've shared practice space, with really great bands, shared the stage with big names. And I look back and I'm like, you know what? Those kids, they were all good. They were really good, It just happened that we're all in the same block, But even today, I think most of them, they didn't pursue. But there was this one guy that I started playing with, a childhood friend. And we didn't like each other too much when we were a child, but then we both started playing guitar at the same time. I was one of the worst students, and he was the best. He was like a geek, And we'll play and everything, and that guy was like a genius for reproducing. He'll buy really complicated albums, the tablature of Master of Puppets, and he'll play all the entire album, flawless. And so I'll be learning some songs, and I'll be trying, and the guy was and before that he was the Swiss ping pong champion. And he reminds me of the guitar player of Megadeth, the Brazilian, I forgot his name, I apologize. I follow him, not Marty Friedman, but the one that who just Luro, no, that like the handsome guy, like yeah, like they had the same style, and I was thinking, dude, you know, like that guy is. But then he decided to become a doctor, and he gave up music. I'm sure if he had pursued, he would have been. So that guy was my neighbor, you know. It's and I've never, throughout my entire career, I mean, I've seen better creative people. I've seen, you know, because music is like everybody has its. For example, I think I was even back then I was better than him for writing songs. But he was just really good at understanding music and, you know, playing and reproducing, you know, exactly with a really good ear. But a guy like that I never met before. You know, like my neighbor when I was, you know, I know him since I'm like 7 years old, you know. And so then I'm thinking about all the other guys from Geneva, downtown, and man, there was no, maybe on a, like more like a technical musical level, maybe I was the weakest link, you know. But then I think artistically, maybe I had better vision, and or also I wanted to do it more, you know. I just kept going. I mean, a lot of them they gave up, you know. But all I want to say is that back then, well, it created some type of a complex, but it's just, I don't know what the reason is, but it was just that that block was blessed with good musicians, like because also we, you know, like with that whole scene, we were kind of digging in the past, you know, like we're like, hey, what happened, like in Geneva, and there wasn't that much good stuff, you know, before us, and after us, there are many great bands, and some of them they did like international careers and stuff. I mean, there were very few like that we knew of, like so it's very interesting. It could be a generational thing, you know, with all the kids that their parents listened to Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, you know. Now they're picking up the guitar, and it's the 90s, and you know, it's like the stars are aligned. I mean, you play video games on Commodore 64, so it's not like you're binge playing, you know. There's no, you have MTV, they pass music, you don't have you know, there's no Netflix, there's no, so it might be that, you know, that more people geared, like that was the cool thing to do maybe back then. So yeah, leverage, something to think about. Thank you for watching. It's a huge long video. I'll see if I upload, maybe I don't upload, we'll see. But I'll watch it at least once for sure. Thank you for watching.